What up, though? This is Knockouts and Three Counts. But before we bring you another episode of Podcast Gold, let me tell you about the homies over at Michigan's Finest. Do you ever find yourself trying to get yourself together and thinking, man, this is going to be a great night, but I'm looking for that little extra something, something? Well, check out our friends at Michigan Finest. If you are into medical marijuana, recreational marijuana, concentrates, vapes, anything of that sort, Michigan's Finest has got you covered. And as you can see here, it's all easily done by their website. It's all curbside, and you'll be in and out in 2 minutes. And they're family owned and operated, so customer service is their number one goal. And now, since they are rocking with Knockouts and Three Counts, use the code KO3MF. Yes, that's KO3MF. You get 10% off your entire order, but that does exclude featured items and items that are already on sale. But if you use that code, you're getting 10% off your items, and I promise you, either if you're looking for that big knockout or you're ready to hit the sheets for that 3 count, Michigan's Finest will get you together. Tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you, and I promise you, you're going to be having a great night. Peace.
This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
We were cruising down the street in our 6'4", dropping elbows and saying, what up, doe? This is Knockouts and 3 Counts. What's good? Happy Halloween. That shit was off the dome. Pay me later. I am hopped up on some candy. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? How was your Halloween? Corey J-Bone, I've survived even though my knee is hurting and I'm clearly not a young kid anymore. But all I want you to know is that I did the damn thing in the mosh pit, which we will talk about that with Cheapy Creepy, and J-Bone can give you fucking play-by-play after I about blew my knee out, too. So plenty to talk about from this last weekend, and that's not even including Jake Paul and Anderson Silva. You had the UFC, and now you got Crown Jewel this weekend. So, it's a revolving door of stuff going on these days, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. I know on my end, I had a damn good Halloween. Weather broke just in time. We got to take the kids all over the damn place. No complaints on this end. Love that shit. Favorite type of stuff was when you can get the kids out. We had a whole group of kids together, so, it's always a good time there. And hopefully your knee is doing better than Calvin Cater's knee was doing on Saturday night, huh?
Yeah, that's been like the story out of it, man, is that with the whole knee. So, yeah,
I'm sorry.
I can still walk on mine, but
Kyle, can you please write down that rhyme you did at the beginning of the show? Because I'm gonna steal that later. Appreciate you.
that was off the dome, too, dude.
Unreal, dude. Sign this man's paycheck.
Fuck yeah. I need to get paid. I'm tired of working at the post office.
I'm over here eating tons of Halloween candy, man. I'm still feeling it from Creepy Cheapy over the weekend. Dude, I don't even know what to say about that. It was amazing. A lot of fun, a lot of cool costumes, good people.
It was definitely freshly squeezed.
Kyle was getting jiggy with it out there on the dance floor.
Oh, hell yeah. You already know what time it was. Me and Uncle Chase was running that bitch for a minute. So I'm just saying. And, it's really sad, but ironic at the same time that, I was at the actual Korn concert, Ring the Bell, a few weeks ago and didn't get in the mosh pit, but yet found myself not only in the mosh pit, but on my ass in the mosh pit when Korn was playing, and then getting up and sending somebody flying. We've got plenty stories for you to come. J-Bone, what were your thoughts on Cheapy Creepy? Give me your synopsis. And
first of all, we need a new bell guy because I suck at that. Dude, like I said, man, it's we've been 2 years in a row now. Great time. It's just such a unique setting. You know what I mean? Like it's literally bands dressed as other bands playing other bands. You know what I mean? So throw that in with good vibes and just Halloween party, man. It's so fun. It just, you got to be there to really realize how unique it is. But I think the highlight of the night for me, besides obviously the great music, was when I look over, right, and Kyle's just standing there with a guy dressed as Danhausen, and I'm just like, dude, this is perfect. That was probably one of the better highlights of the night for me. So
Hey, bro, that night we was cruising down the street in the 6'4", cursing fools in this bitch. That's what it was. But yeah, Cheapy Creepy was a damn good time. So any of you guys who are watching, let us know what you guys did for Halloween. Did you get into any Halloween parties, all that stuff? Did you partake in any festivities, And if you are, you can check out our homies over at Michigan's Finest who are going to be doing a food drive and a, Toys for Tots thing, December 10th. So make sure you check out that link there. And if you get anything, use that code. But dude, what up, Chris? I appreciate you always sharing the show out, man. Checking us out from the other states, man. We need shit like that every day. How was your Halloween, man? Well, all right. So the Danhausen thing was pretty cool. We went and saw, we saw Pantera. They had Meg the Stallion. They had Kid Cudi. They had Sum 41. They had Simple Plan. They had Korn. And dude, I'm not gonna lie, Philip H. Anselmo, there was two of them in one Pantera band on on Saturday night. And can we just talk about how we were in the Pike Room? Like, it's not a very big room, and they are crowd surfing this motherfucker all over the room, and his feet are getting stuck in the pumpkin lights that are on the ceiling, and he almost ripped the whole shit down. Like, it was
wasn't that a guy that was in a bridesmaid dress?
Yes. Dude, this dude was dressed up in a full-blown dress, just getting fucking crowd surfed all around that bitch while they're playing Walk. Look at that for a visual.
That's creepy cheapy, bro. That's creepy cheapy right there.
Hell yeah. It was badass. Pantera kicked ass. Then we went and seen a little bit of Simple Plan. I still feel like I'm left out in the dark, but yeah, man, it was they did pretty good. And then, dude, did we get after it at Korn or what? Son of a bitch.
Hey, we've mosh pitted twice this year at a kind of Korn type of thing. We had the actual Korn concert and then that one. But yeah, man, so some sights to see in that mosh pit. I'll tell you what. I was
Before
trying to
tell you my remembrance.
I was trying to record
what you remember this first.
I was trying to record some shit in there, and it really wasn't working out for me. But there was a moment in time where I see Kyle just slide across the floor through the whole crowd of beer and probably spit or something. He goes flying across the floor and then lays this dude out in the pit. And then, it's Kyle's bouncing all over the place. I'm like, look out for this guy, man, because he's a wild man. I'm telling you, he's a wild man. When we let him out of the house.
I just want everybody to know my footwork was on point when I danced my ass back out there. And then it was one of those things. Like, I was busting out the footwork, man. You'd have thought I was Ali out there. And the next thing you know, me and this dude kind of like the guy that had knocked me on my ass, which is why I was sliding across the floor. And I quickly found out that I'm getting old, ladies and gentlemen, because I thought my knee was fucked. And then I literally had just got done saying, damn, I think I'm done. And the next thing you know, I start working my way out into the middle. And then me and that dude that knocked me on my ass is sitting across the other end of the mosh pit. And I'm like, I am not going out like this. And this dude comes charging. This dude comes charging at me, and I'm like, all right, homie, let's go. Dip my shoulder, and let's just say he had a nice flight. But
that's creepy right there.
Hey, we get down like that out here. And the Tom Fords made it in this bitch. I was freshly squeezed all night, damn it. Hey, dude, it was a damn good time. Uncle Chase came through. Shout out to him and his lovely bride, man. And then, it was just a damn good time altogether. So we ran into Danhausen. We ran into Bray Wyatt. We ran into somebody was dressed like Hulk Hogan.
Clockwork Orange. That was fun.
Yep. Bro, and what was crazy is I was shocked how many people knew. I mean, not to shit on Orange Cassidy, but man, I was shocked how many people that are just like would stop me and are giving me like the thumb gesture, And I'm like, dude. So Yeah, it was good times, dude. I enjoyed the hell out of Cheapy Creepy. Corey, what the hell did you get into for Halloween?
Similar festivities, but much smaller venue, right? Over at my brother's house. We had roughly, I don't know, 15, 20 people or something show up. It was just a solid good time. Like I said, I would have loved to, or like I said in the pre-show, I'd have loved to join you guys, but there's no way I was dragging my old lady out the house to go to a Halloween party at the Crowfoot. There's no way that's happening. So hopefully I'll be able to join you guys in that event next year. But other than that, I had a damn good time myself. Got to celebrate my 30th birthday. So other than that, man, it was a damn good time. Damn good time.
Happy birthday, you old
Appreciate
bastard.
it. Yeah, getting there, right? Getting there.
Mhm.
Man, all I know is I felt really old after being in the mosh pit. But you know what? Damn it, I feel like I redeemed myself, and since I redeemed myself, I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
Because
It definitely made me feel old when we had returned to the concert scene over the summer, and I had like you had said, J Bone, we had taken our talents into the pool a couple times, and yeah, dude, when I was a teenager, that shit used to be so fun. Now I'm like, man, if I slip down this fucking hill and bust my ass, dog, I'm gonna be so fucking upset. And before that was just half the fun of it, right? Like it didn't even matter. But now, yeah,
You
I'm
dread
good.
the walk. You dread the walk back to the car after the mosh pit. You know, it's like,
that was what was. It was just hilarious to me when it dawned on me that I didn't get in the pit at the actual Korn concert because it was on a hill, but I got in a mosh pit for a cover band for Korn, and then
and what could have been an equally as dirty floor setting with all that beer and grossness on there.
yeah,
Imagine so.
Yeah, I know. I kind of
I know.
I kind of slid across it, but so did homie. So it was all right though. And his landing probably hurt a lot worse because
I'm sure.
he was flying. So I'm just saying, fuck around and find out. But what we fucked around and found out was that, damn it, Jake Paul's done it again.
Again, right? Done it again. And not only did he go and done it, he did it against the guy that everybody was saying he wouldn't go and do it against, right? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to take anything away from Jake Paul's performance because I feel like that's the thing here is like he really did go out there and do it, right? He did it against that guy, like I had said that nobody thought he would do it against. But I don't know, man. It still leaves me kind of scratching my head at the end of it. I feel like there's still more to be proven. Like the Anderson Silva, I feel like Anderson didn't fight like himself. He was fighting as if he was chasing a knockout, which is something he almost, like what happened to the elusive counter fighter that used to, make people come and chase him and then duck and hit him with a counter shot. I didn't see any of that during this fight. And it was just,
I think a lot of these guys are going in there thinking it's Jake Paul, so they think they're going to be able to just land these shots on him. And then because they come in swinging nothing but haymakers, they're not landing shots where, like you said, you wouldn't have seen Anderson do that. But again, let's not forget that on his way out of the UFC, he had been knocked out a couple times. So, and the thing is, everybody's like, oh, the knockdown was fake. Bullshit, it was fake.
No.
Bullshit, that was fake.
Well, to touch on your point, Kyle, I think that's the issue with the Jake Paul fights, man. Nobody wants to just beat Jake Paul, dude. Everybody wants to knock Jake Paul out and do it like in stunning fashion. You know what I mean? Somebody wants to put this guy's lights out, and like you said, it's just not. You can't chase that down in a fight, especially with a fighter. I mean, you got to give him credit. He knows what he's doing out there. Putting in the work. We just don't like the way that he's getting there.
I mean, I've said all along that's the one thing you can't take away from Jake Paul is the fact that the guy actually hits hard. Like, I mean, that unfortunately is what it is. I don't know. Like I said, I got nothing to take away from him. It'll be interesting to see if he wants to fight Uriah Hall because Uriah Hall got in the ring after he won and was like, "I'm going to fuck you up, Jake Paul." So I don't know.
I think Uriah Hall is not as big. He's not as big of a name, so it'd be a step down. And then you got the Nate Diaz one thing looming in the background.
Oh, I want to see him and Nate fight for sure, but unfortunately, even though I love Nate, I still feel like Jake Paul's going to win that fight because
and then
Nate's chin ain't there.
Well, you got the unanswered questions about him fighting a boxer compared to fighting ex-MMA guys and stuff. I feel like the Uriah Hall move would be the least likely of the opponents. I understand the call out. I understand, especially because he was on the undercard of, the event itself, and the eyes are already going to be built in and stuff like that. But that being said, the move just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like that's not in the cards, not the way they're currently laid out, at least. Maybe sometime later in the future, if Uriah Hall continues to, win some fights in this new boxing realm that he's found himself in. But I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it.
What a turn of events that is, right? We're talking about Uriah Hall having to fight up to get to Jake Paul. You know what I mean? What a crazy world in combat sports is, man. Jeez.
I know, but you look at the way that things are laid out right now, and I mean, there's no way that you're telling me Uriah Hall's a bigger draw than Jake Paul currently.
Right.
And and then when you look at the other, like I had listed, the potential opponents and stuff that are out there, it's just, I mean, not a lot of people are following Uriah Hall's career like that. I feel like now following his leave of the UFC.
Right.
Brock, I saw you were all done up. Happy birthday, kind sir. You guys were doing the party downtown and all that good shit. I was freshly squeezed for the evening, and it's made a return tonight for knockouts and 3 counts. But man, we were just talking about Paul versus Silva. Let's hop over to the wrestling end of things real quick before we talk about UFC in Vegas, since we're talking about Paul, because this weekend, it's still not really set into me, but it's going to happen. Jake Paul's brother, Logan Paul, will be in the main event against Roman Reigns in fucking Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, 2 stunners in 1 week, dude. Paul brothers victorious fucking 2 weeks in a row, bro.
Hey, shut the fuck up. This is the same place where Goldberg beat The Fiend. The Undertaker almost got dropped on his neck and killed by Goldberg. You shut the fuck up before the reign of Roman Reigns ends up getting ended because of some dumb shit that you spoke into existence.
YouTuber.
YouTuber.
That's what
Bray Wyatt is back in Saudi Arabia too. If some stupid shit like that happens, Corey, I fucking blame you.
Yeah, we're switching that hashtag from blame Kyle to blame Corey.
I mean, shit, everybody's always trying to blame Kyle, so it doesn't even need.
Could you imagine though? Just imagine that. By no means is this gonna happen, but could you imagine if it was
one lucky shot?
Could you imagine if it was him? Think of the guys that Roman's beat. You got The Fiend, you got Brock Lesnar, you got Cesaro. Just Daniel Bryan, Edge. The list goes on.
Let's go down the whole fucking list. The guy's been champion for over 2 years, but he's going to lose to who? Logan.
And if he loses to Logan Paul, the world's going to freaking blow up, dude.
Hey, that would piss some people off, but hey, it would be one hell of a swerve. And again, I'm taking nothing away from Logan Paul. I was at his debut at WrestleMania, dude. And what did I say? Go back and check it out. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can go check out that stuff. But I said myself, I was very impressed by what Logan Paul has done in the ring for being somebody that's not, been wrestling through the indies and all that stuff. You can tell that he's clearly taking it seriously. I totally respect that. So I'm not at all shitting on Logan Paul because, he came in as a celebrity. Quite frankly, I understand that's what they're trying to do with it. I get what they're trying to do with it. I'm just saying it's mind-blowing that a guy who's in his 3rd match is about to be in the fucking main event against Roman Reigns.
And
Phillies with another.
Better not win, Corey. I blame you.
Yeah, Phillies with another 2-run home run. Just want to point that out for all the other people watching the World Series out there now with that 6-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th. But my question is that I wanted to pose to you, kind of following up this, is yeah, I agree. His in-ring talents have looked really good. I feel like he's in the opportunities that he's been given. He's done nothing but showcase and that he's putting work into his wrestling and done well as an entertainer aspect of it. Like people are genuinely interested. I remember the Pokemon card thing that he wore on his neck or whatever. Like people were talking about that for a long time. Like that was a full thing on Twitter for like a week and a half, 2 weeks was, people talking about this freaking Pokemon card that he wore in the ring and shit. So he's garnering the eyeballs and stuff. But my real question is it deserving of this spotlight? I understand his brother and the celebrity and everything that goes into all this, but is he deserving of this main event showcase spot, or is this simply popularity has gotten him to the spot?
100% popularity got him to the spot, because if we're talking about deserving the spot,
but is it popularity with the work that he's also put in that's got him to the, you know what I mean? Is it deserving in the sense of, his popularity might have got him to the front, to the top of the ladder type of thing, but he's clearly putting the work in too, right? He's not.
No, for sure. That's what I'm saying. I've seen the guy train. Like he is kept up in the ring. I'm not saying he's looked bad at all.
Yeah.
But coming in and not looking bad versus wrestling for the world fucking title.
Yeah.
And we've seen that they do these Saudi events like they're a WrestleMania and shit. So that's a hell of a way to come in. You know what I mean? If you're, like I said, it's a hell of a way to come in.
Corey, and to your point, I think it's a good thing too, because like, especially this particular time, we're right between SummerSlam and Survivor Series. Roman's been, running the gauntlet. You know what I mean? He's been taking out the top guys. This kind of gives it a little bit of a break, because it's really, you can't just keep shuffling guys into the main event. It just doesn't work that way. People have to really come in and it makes sense. So with him being as popular as he is in the social media world, I think it's good, and I think it only plays into his popularity, and that's why he's in the spot he's in. I mean, any other guy, no matter how good they look, you could have, anybody come in that's putting in the work, looks great in the ring, talks great on the mic, but they ain't going to get a title shot in their third match. You know what I mean? So given where he's at in the world, one of the most popular guys in the world. So that's exactly why he's there.
Another dinger from the Phillies. We now got 7-0. Bottom of the fifth.
Brock brings up a great point. What are your guys' thoughts on what we're seeing here from the bloodline, though? Because I don't know about y'all, but I mean, some days I'm just not feeling really oozy either, bro. So how are you guys feeling about Sami Zayn and the bloodline and all of what we're seeing with that? And how do you think that plays into the stuff with Logan Paul? Here's the thing. Do you really think we're going to get a finish in this one, or do you think it's going to be some bullshit?
Well, I think we'll get a finish. We better get a finish, because if Roman finishes, like I said, all the greats like that, if Roman's finishing all the greats and he can't finish Logan Paul, we're gonna have a problem, dude. You know what I mean? But as far as Sami Zayn, man, dude, that's such great TV. And Sammy's so underrated and overlooked in WWE, man. It's just, he's exactly
underrated, period, bro.
He's in a perfect spot to entertain, dude, and that's exactly what Sami Zayn can do, is entertain everybody. So good spot for him. I don't think it's gonna end well. I got my own little image of how this all ends. And it's actually
let's hear the hypothesis. Yeah.
Right, okay. Everybody loves Sammy, right? Everybody loves Sammy right now. They're starting to accept him solos, except that only one person isn't accepting him, and it's Jay. And at the end, if I'm writing it, at the end of all this, Jay is going to be absolutely right. And Sammy is going to somehow do some crazy stuff. Hopefully KO gets brought into it somehow. And hopefully they're the guys that take the tag titles off the Usos. That's what I want to happen. That's just me. That's only if I had the, what do you call it? The potential.
The potential. He's got the potential, bro. I don't know, man. I love it, dude. Sami Zayn is entertaining as all hell. And you know it's good when, like, the fact that Jay is having to literally put his hands like this to, like, keep from showing that he's laughing his ass off. Roman full-blown, like, just breaks full character and laughs. Like, he got all of them. None of them were expecting it, and they got all of them on live TV and shit like that. Like, Sammy's doing some of the best shit of his career, and he hasn't even been in the ring like that. And let's not forget in the background, we've already seen Kevin Owens tell him, you're better than that and all that kind of stuff. What's to say that he and KO don't take the belts off the Usos?
Mm-hmm. It's an infiltration of the bloodline, man.
He's a mole.
He is a mole. He's a very sharp mind. He's doing exactly what Sami Zayn should be doing. So that's what I want to see.
I want to keep seeing Sami Zayn do his thing. So are we all on the same page? So Roman Reigns is keeping the belt with Logan Paul?
Yes. And if he doesn't, we're
all
blaming Corey.
And how are we all on the same page? I've made it so clear, Kyle.
Corey, you want Roman to win, right? Right,
possibly
right.
I hope to God that we're getting that WrestleMania match, Brock. I'm with you 100%. I want to see The Rock too. Ring the bell. I'll be in that bitch. But I really hope. I hope
other than the sense of like just adding Raw chaos to the mix, I don't see it at all happening. There's just too many things in the works, right? Like you had mentioned, like the Rock match and stuff like that.
I'm not saying right now. I mean, dude, look how long they've done the Bloodline storyline. Why can't this could easily be drug out over another 6 months? What if The Rock beats Roman at WrestleMania, and for some reason it's got to do with fucking Sami Zayn, and that starts to be like the crumble of it, and maybe Sami gets pissed off and just says, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna. You guys want to, diss me or however it looks, and then him and KO try to get the belt. I mean, there's a million different ways that can go, which is what makes this shit so good.
I can't wait till WrestleMania season so we can argue about who's going to win that main event. That's going to be huge.
Huge.
But
speaking of huge, this match is going to bring up a topic that I've wanted to talk about, in that you've got Bianca Belair and Bayley going at it again in a last woman standing match for the women's title. Now, we saw on Raw last night, Io and Dakota Kai dropped the women's tag team championships. I, for one, don't know that I feel like Damage Control has really been kind of clicking since they started. I think individually they're all great. Like Bayley speaks for herself. And Io and Dakota both had success in NXT, and Io outside of WWE as well. But with that being said, it's like, I don't know, the group as a whole, it just never really made sense to me in a lot of ways. Because like their motive was never really like put over, and then they keep talking about how they're running Raw, but then you had now they've dropped the belts or whatever. If Bayley loses again at Crown Jewel, do you think that there's any chance that this could be the beginning of the end for Damage Control?
From the scenario that you had just built up. Sorry to jump in there, J-Bone. It seemed like you're but from the scenario that you had built up, and I know we had talked about it kind of in pre-shows and stuff in the past, and it does seem to be going in that direction, right? To your point, they don't seem to be gaining the traction that I'm assuming that WWE was hoping they would, right? You wouldn't put a star like Bayley into a allegiance or group and not expect something highly out of them. And to your point, I don't feel like they're garnering that attention. So yeah, definitely could be seeing the last moments of.
Well, let me ask you this then: if that is what ends up happening, what would you want to see happen to Io and Dakota? Do you want to see them go back to NXT, or do you think they both just stay singles on the main roster, though?
Well, it's an interesting question, right? And I'll pose it to you guys, right? If they weren't able to garner fan attention as put into what should be like one of the, if you're to put it in normal sports terms, right? That's a super winnable match, right? That they got put into with the potential there. They got put in with a star. They already claimed the tag titles and stuff, and then to still not necessarily garner the fan attention, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think?
What do you think, J-Bone? Do you think this is the end for them? Do you think they still keep going with it?
Yeah, I think we were talking about earlier. I think we get to Survivor Series, and I think Bayley's going to kind of branch off. I mean, because we got Rumble season coming up, man. You already know that's my pick for the Rumble. I think I said that months ago. Bailey's going to win the Women's Royal Rumble. But that's a story for a different show. But yeah, I think she's got
Bets by J-Bone. New segment coming soon.
She's like we said, man, she's just bigger in the aspect of a superstar, man. And it's just not clicking. They're not the threat that we wanted. Because when they first came out, I was like, okay, this is good. This is gonna be good. But it just didn't work out, and they're not the threat that we thought they were gonna be, So at this point, like Corey said, if you can't garner the right attention on the main roster, you probably shouldn't be there. So while you can, shuffle them back down to NXT. Get them some shine down there, see what they can do, and bring them back up later.
And it's not like you're talking about somebody that was just given a shot and had a couple opportunities and stuff. You're talking about two women in this circumstance that were given like the best of opportunities, really. But
I don't know that I think it's Io. It's necessarily on Io and Dakota. Like, I just don't think them as a group, really gelled. To be honest, it's not like the women's division on the main roster couldn't use both of them in like a singles role, because again, Io Shirai was very good in Japan and places like Stardom and shit like that before she ever got to WWE. And personally, I would really love to see her versus Asuka at some point.
Yeah. that would be a banger, dude, for sure. Yeah, I
would love to see that. So as far as this match, I feel like Bianca Belair is going to retain. Where are you at, J-Bone?
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I think she's right now she's a top star, dude. She's a superstar, and we've really been seeing a good run by her. So I hope she holds on to it at least till the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? And then Bayley can win that and come back and win at WrestleMania or something. But with the way that she's been performing, dude, I don't think you could take that title off her right now. There's just no way. So I'm taking
Rock's going with the EST, man. I'm in the same boat. I think Bianca Belair keeps the belt.
Yeah,
EST, I agree on that one. So we're all in the same boat. Bianca keeps the belt. Well, we've also got the tag team belts are on the line. You got the Usos defending the undisputed tag team championships against the Brawling Brutes of Pete Butch Dunne and Ridge Holland. I am a big Pete Dunne fan, dude. Always have been. I don't know. I mean, I like at least that they're acknowledging his name and everything again since Triple H has come back. But I feel like this is going to be a damn good match because just how we were talking about the chemistry of damage control, Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland, I feel like have done really well to mesh as a tag team. I feel like them in there with the Usos is going to be a banger of a match. As far as a pick, though, I think the Usos are definitely keeping the belts on this. But what are your thoughts on this match, J-Bone, and who do you think is coming out with the belt?
Well, you nailed that one, man. The Usos are going to win that for sure, but it's going to be a great match and good for Pete Dunne and Ridge to be in that match because you're going to get to see them really go out there and show out, man, with probably the best tag team in the world, right? The Usos are that good, man. Top tag team. So, and we haven't seen a lot of tag team, wrestling from the Usos lately, to be honest. They're so caught up in the bloodline thing. So it's going to be good. They're going to have a really good tag team match. That could be a really good match that night. But like I said, Usos are winning that. Bloodline's going to prevail all night long, Corey.
All right. Well, I think I know where I'm picking on this one, but you've got the battle of Corey, you didn't make your pick. Do you think the Usos are retaining or you think the Brawling Brutes are going to win?
Yeah, I mean the Usos are just on a run, right? It would only make sense for that one to continue. Way
to be Usi.
We're keeping it Usi in this bitch. With that being said, we've got Braun Strowman versus Omos. The battle of the Clash of the Titans and shit. I think Braun Strowman's definitely getting a dub in this one. Where are you guys at? Braun Strowman versus Omos.
I would imagine. So, of course, with me in most of my picks, right, it's more based on what you guys say because I'm not tuning into the weekly shows and stuff. I'm more catching like the bigger events and the highlights and stuff of the weekly stuff. And just based on whose name you guys bring up entirely more, I haven't heard I really Strowman I've heard a ton of. In last year, say the name one more time, Kyle. It already escaped me. Omos. Last year he was on a huge push, but it seems like ever since then, I haven't heard his name once brought up on the show. Maybe once, maybe. So just based on that simple fact, you got to go on who's got the popularity at the moment.
J-Bone, where are you at on this one? You got Strowman or Omos?
I'm gonna be brutally honest on this one, dude. I'm probably gonna be using the bathroom during this one because I have no interest in this match at all. I'm sorry, dude. Dude, these big man matches used to be good, but they're just not how they. You know what I mean? Wrestling's changed, and it's just while they are absolutely athletic, like big props to these big men, but two big guys like that, I just don't have an interest in it. It's like Brock said earlier in the comments, it's repetitive. We're getting the same thing. It's just hard hitting and big bumps. Big men flying around. It's not for me, dude. I don't know. So whatever.
The only thing I'll say to play devil's advocate with that one too is that we're already kind of locked in the world title picture. So in the meantime, what are you going to do to reintroduce Braun Strowman back to WWE audiences rather than have him fight the only guy in the company that could even come close to, being as big as the guy
and stature.
I mean, at least that way it shows, Braun Strowman for what he is. So I'm not mad that he's going against Omos. I hope that once we get out of this, that we could see, more from Strowman. I mean, hell, we still haven't seen everything, that's to come with Bray Wyatt. What's to say that he doesn't link back up with Bray at some point? With that being said, we'll have to talk about Bray in a minute as to what we think is going to happen with that. If you guys are watching, make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you guys for checking in. We are talking about what's going on with Crown Jewel and going to give you our thoughts on Bray Wyatt here in a second. I definitely have a lot to say about that. But, you talked about matches that you didn't care about. This next match, I'm all about it. I think it's going to be a damn good match, especially after that strap match that we saw. Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre in a steel cage is going to be badass.
Yes, that'll be good. They've done very well for themselves, dragging this feud out. So,
and it's been hard hitting all the way through. They're beating the shit out of each other in a steel cage, man. It also should neutralize Scarlett, so we're not going to have to deal with no more pepper spray or perfume or whatever the hell she sprayed in Drew McIntyre.
Little side note. For Drew to come off that feud with Roman for kind of on the slide back down, he's actually picked up a pretty good feud and he's done very well with it. So it's kind of hard. It's always hard to fall off the title picture. Your next feud's always probably the hardest. You know what I mean? So the fact that he's doing what he's doing with Karrion Kross is awesome. And Brock's right. That could steal the show. That could be one of the better matches on that show. So good for him, man.
I agree completely. I mean, after the last match, dude, I think it showed that these two have, and the cool thing about it, when you really think about it, like you got a guy in McIntyre who went out and rebuilt himself on the indies. You got a guy in Karrion Kross who made his name on the indies, lost his job, from WWE, and now has been brought right back. I think you're seeing two guys that are matured through all the time that they've been doing everything, and I feel like we're getting great quality stuff. Because of it. I feel like this match is gonna not only live up to the hype, but dude, it's gonna be hard hitting, and somebody, if not both, are getting the shit beat out of them. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. But as far as who I'm picking, I feel like Drew McIntyre's got to get him a dub in this one, bro. I feel like Drew has to get him one back after the way that strap match went, and if it does neutralize Scarlett, I think there's a good chance that it could get Drew McIntyre the dub. So I'll go with McIntyre on this one.
Yeah, I'm genuinely unsure which direction to lean on this one. I feel like, to your guys' point, McIntyre coming off the slide, trying to regain momentum, but it also, if you're Karrion Kross basically on the re-sign and on his way back up and stuff, it would make more sense, in my opinion, to have him come out be victorious through all this. But I don't know, because it seems like McIntyre always finds his way to stay in that upper echelon, whether it's size or, he's a solid wrestler. So I'm not taking anything away. I actually do enjoy, his work and stuff. But that being said, he always seems to find a way to stay at that upper echelon. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was able to get the dub, but seeing that Kieran Cross is coming off of the re-signing, it would make more sense to kind of build momentum in that direction. But
the reason I say that with my pick is because these guys just fought each other at Extreme Rules in a strap match, and Karrion Kross won. Hence why I say, with there being a steel cage match this time, it could finally neutralize Scarlett to where we can have, actually have these two dudes fight. So maybe McIntyre may have more of a chance. Because, hey, I ain't mad at Karrion Kross for utilizing what he's got around him. I mean, Scarlett is just showing that she's more than just eye candy. So I'm not mad at it.
Speaking of candy, I'm eating these Sour Punch straws. These are really good.
These are really good.
I'm not mad at you, dude. We don't have a ton of candy left because we didn't get candy till like way late. So like I got like some Tootsie Rolls left and like some chips and shit, but like nothing really good.
So much
candy. Yeah, I don't really got anything good. I don't get to raid my kids' bags like Corey over here.
I got 3 bags.
Loaded.
See there? Are you taking McIntyre or Cross on this one, bro?
Considering the last match,
straws are better.
Oh, those sound good too. I gotta take McIntyre on this one, man. He just, like I said, with how the last one went down, I don't think it's gonna be over either. I think this one's gonna go into Survivor Series somehow. But I think McIntyre ultimately gets the dub this weekend, and then we'll see what happens after that. But got to find a way to keep him relevant too. You know what I mean? It's got to.
Brock agrees. Drew is getting.
And you don't want to make Karrion Kross look too weak though, because like Corey said, he's still fresh. Coming off the re-signing, so you got to find a way to keep it going, keep them both looking strong. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I think that Drew's got to get the dub in this one, and I don't think Kross losing in a match where it's really a banger of a match is going to be a bad thing, especially with him getting the win at Extreme Rules. We've got the OC versus the Judgment Day, and they've really done a good job of re-elevating the Judgment Day. But man, the OC's been taking an ass kicking since they got back, really, bro.
Yeah, they have. I don't know what happened there, but they come back to get beat up, I guess, man. Whatever, pin me, pay me type thing, I guess.
I mean, they came back with all that momentum, and I mean, them versus Judgment Day's got a story to it. I mean, how do you guys see this match going? J-Bone, do you think Judgment Day is getting the dub here, or do you think the OC pulls it out to kind of get some get back for the weeks leading up to it?
I gotta go Judgment Day, man, because like we've been talking about it for weeks on the show, dude. They didn't have the impact that we thought they were gonna have, right? So we're still climbing that hill with the Judgment Day to still be a threat, to still be super relevant. And I think this is just another stepping stone for them. It sucks that the OC is gonna be the ones they got to step on, but hey, it is what it is, man. So I'm taking the Judgment Day.
What if we let them fight it out? We got the War Game shit coming, dude. Like, what if we let them fight that shit out, and then, we see other people added to it? What if, Ray shows up on the OC's side, and then you got Dominic and Priest and Balor on the other side. I don't know who else you would add, but I mean, dude, I wouldn't be mad if they keep it going. But I feel like for the OC's credibility, especially if you want them to be, big on the tag team, end of things, you kind of got to get them to win. But at the same time, to Brock's point, he goes, is anybody getting tired of the Judgment Day? Honestly, I think they're finally doing a better job of, building them up. So I've actually been interested in what the Judgment Day has been doing lately. But I also think that they got to keep the OC strong as well, with it being AJ Styles and a returning Gallows and Anderson. Because I feel like they can always use more teams in the WWE Tag Team division, and those guys are about as decorated of a team as you really have in wrestling right now. So I feel like you got to keep them strong. So I'm gonna go with the OC on this one. You say we're going Judgment Day, Corey. Where are you going on this one?
Honestly, unfamiliar enough to give you breakdown to pick.
Just take my
honestly.
side then, Corey. Just take my side.
Yeah, all right. You
right.
sold me. You sold me.
See this shit? This motherfucker. Oh, I don't know. So fuck it.
What? Come on.
Don't, man. Fuck off. Anyway, the match that I'm really looking forward to seeing, and I wonder, part of me almost hopes that we don't get a finish in this match because I'd really like to see this go to Survivor Series. But Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. First of all, J-Bone, what are your thoughts on what we've seen in the last couple of weeks leading up to it? Because I think they've done a good job in the last couple of weeks of making me want to see this a lot more than I did when they first came back.
Yeah, man. They've been the whole fight on Raw with everybody trying to break them up. It's just a madhouse. I mean, we've seen that go down a million times in wrestling, right? But it never gets old. Like, remember the Kyle, I know you remember the fight with Brock and the Undertaker and all that. But like, I just hope there's good wrestling in this one, though. You know what I mean? Like, clotheslines and suplexes are always fun. But let's get like a good wrestling match out of that, man. Because these are the type of giants, quote unquote giants in wrestling that you know can go out there and deliver. You know what I mean? It's not just body slams and toss you through the rail and all that stuff. Like, you can get good wrestling out of this if it's done right.
I've said this before. I'd like to see this, to be honest, I would really like to see this one go to like a no finish of some kind. And then like, I'd like to see these guys fucking fight in the pit. I want to see Brock Lesnar and Lashley.
That would be something.
That would be badass.
I mean, I could definitely see that being the direction that they go because, I feel like for Brock, they gave him the whole title run and everything like that. And then since his return and stuff, they've gave him yet again that chase towards it. And I feel just like I was saying with McIntyre earlier, he's always somebody, no matter what, if he's active, he's going to be near the title.
Brock Lesnar is a bona fide star at this point.
Yeah,
he's going to be up there regardless of what anybody thinks, because whatever anybody wants to say, when Brock Lesnar comes on, it's money. And, shout out to Dave, LaGreca from Busted Open, past guest of the show. He said it this morning, Brock Lesnar is like Teflon at this point. He can lose a million times, and when he comes back, everybody's still going to be like, damn, I wonder who's Brock going to fuck up, because they all know that Brock Lesnar is that dude.
Legit badass.
Well, that kind of spins back to what the point I was starting to make was, you see him in his return and stuff, and he's had great success and stuff, and he's worked his way back, even though they were losses and stuff in the title bouts and stuff. But he's had a good run, I feel like, and he's garnered some decent fan attention and stuff on his way back. And that being said, I feel like this is kind of to what you were pointing at earlier, J-Bone, where you're like, oh, this is just two big guys and yada yada. This is like the opposite of that, where it's like, this is two big guys, but it still is kind of got that, like, oh, these are two big guys that could actually fuck each other up if given the chance. Like, there is genuine intrigue in, like, oh, hey, both of these guys are like actually MMA trained and shit. Like, I wonder what could happen if nobody was pulling them apart, type of, like, it gives the thought, it lets your mind run a little wild on a matchup like this and stuff. And I feel like that's where the difference kind of lies between those two matchups.
Yeah.
Like I say, man, it's either way, it's gonna be really interesting to see how all that plays out, because I just hope that they give it the time and let it be what it can.
Wait a minute. So if you have to pick a winner, there is a finish, and if you have to pick it, who's it gonna be, Kyle?
Bobby Lashley.
All right. Well.
Wow.
Well, no, I'm taking Brock. If I have to pick, I take Brock.
Who y'all got? I'm taking Lashley in this bitch.
I feel like even though Brock has been given, to spin back to what I was just saying, he's been given a million opportunities and done great work in most of it, and whether win or loss. I feel like Lashley's more the one on the back foot, even though we've seen Brock leave and come in and out and do his whole retirement thing and stuff. I feel like Lashley's, he's on the back end of he's on the back nine of the golf course. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this would be the match that maybe sends him further into those holes, if you get what I mean.
The only way I could see Brock losing if we do something really stupid and like throw Goldberg in there to interfere.
Why do we
Goldberg.
need to do that shit?
You all know my love I have for Goldberg, especially
Look,
in Saudi
Lashley
Arabia.
can beat him straight up, dude. I don't know. Do you think if they end up going the fight pit route down the road, did they bring DC back in there?
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
I don't know, because DC and Lesnar.
I really hope they
like
do
each
that,
other.
because that's a hell of an idea, and that's why they should hire you as a writer, Kyle. Just saying.
You know, I've always said that I feel like people pay attention to what I say on here, but you know, like I said, if nothing else, Crown Jewel is definitely going to be interesting. I still stick to what I said. I think Roman Reigns is keeping the belt coming out of this, but
You better, Corey. You better. We will be blaming you. We will be blaming Corey.
Goldberg doesn't have the best track record in Saudi Arabia. He won the belt.
Yeah.
He's got an idea. Give Goldberg the belt.
I'm glad Brock got what I was putting down there. I'm not a Goldberg fan, especially not a Goldberg fan in Saudi Arabia. Let's just put it that way.
You're not wrong, dude. But you know, I don't know if anybody else but me watched it. You know, we saw the return of Vasily Lomachenko last Saturday as well, and Devin Haney was in attendance. Our guy AB was in attendance, but I think it was a knock the rust off kind of performance for Lomachenko. I think his opponent, you know, dinged him a couple times. We saw some bruising under his eye, but all that being said, he got the win. But you got to give the guy credit, because that was his first fight in over a year, for going back and fighting in the war for his country and all that kind of stuff too, man. So maybe not the most Lomachenko-like of performances, but
hey, you got to give that man a break, though. I mean, come on. Like, dude just went and fought a war. Like, mad respect, dude. The fact that you
I want to see Loma and Haney fight, damn it. I'm with you, Brock.
The fact that
I'm
you
cool.
come back and win a fight, like, dude, props to you for that. You just went and fought a war, something 10 times more important. You know what I mean? So
and volunteered to go fight.
Volunteered. And so how can you knock the guy?
So is Alexander Usyk's getting ready to do the same. So
I did not check out the match itself, but that's one thing that you can definitely not take away from all these Ukrainian champions. It seems like every single one of them kind of put sports on the back burner and went home and, you know, did what they felt was right to defend their homeland. So, you know, can't take anything away from that. That's for sure.
I mean, I think Loma still clearly won that fight. Definitely had a little bit of ring rust on him, but shout out to his opponent, man. His opponent Chambers definitely did his fucking thing, dude, and he was definitely hitting the shit out of him, bro. Like, he was landing his shots, but I mean, that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was the first time in 12th round for him. So Lomachenko, I'm trying to pull up the Ortiz, that was his last name. Excuse me. Wow, I butchered the last name. But yeah, dude, he was definitely doing his thing. He was definitely landing shots. Like I said, he bruised Loma's eye up a tad bit, and I think he's earned his next fight. You know, but at the same time, it's going to be interesting though to see what they do next with Loma. I would like to see, like Brock said, I'd like to see him and Devin Haney.
Yeah. I agree, but boxing, you know, I doubt we'll see it. I'd love to see it, but I doubt we'll see it, you know?
I'm with you. Like I said, I would like to see that. I like the return for Lomachenko, and dude, those shorts were fucking fire. Speaking of boxing, I think Jake Paul's high if he's thinking he wants to fight Canelo, because Canelo would kill him. Like, I'm just saying. Like, I really think Canelo would, like, murder him.
Yeah, let's not do that. If you want this hype train to keep rolling, don't put that brick wall in front of them, because it ain't gonna make it.
I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think Canelo, like, wins by murder. I would bet you all the money in my bank. And, speaking of all the money in your bank, get your ass ready for tax season and hit up the homies over at G3 Payroll, Tax, and Accounting and tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you. You could be cruising down the street in your own 6'4" when you hit up the homies over at G3, get your taxes together. Tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you, and hey, you'll already be ready to go hit up the homies at Michigan's Finest as well. Like I said, hit them up. Tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you. So IRS and $1 Million Man ain't coming, because everybody knows they all got a price for the $1 Million Man. But with that being said, dude, UFC Vegas 63 was kind of a bummer. Can we really talk about the way that Phil Hawes got his knee blew the fuck up and then got knocked out cold?
Man,
Bro.
that since we're starting there, Kyle, I'm glad you did. Honestly, is that not a more clear example of, like, I understand, right? This is like a fighter's will thing and stuff like that, but dude just took a knockout that he did not need to take, right? Are we all in agreement on that? He did not need to go
Phil
out.
Hawes was moving around again by the end of that round, though.
Moving around and then hobbling.
I'm not
around
saying
down
that it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have not been stopped, but I mean, fuck, man.
I feel like, man,
if he didn't get bonus money for that, dude, Dana White.
Yeah, if I'm in Phil Haas's corner, if I'm one of his coaches or one of his family members or something like that, and it's one thing to take a loss on your record due to injury, right? You go down, you hold your knee, and everybody's like, man, that sucks. Hopefully that ACL surgery doesn't keep you out for 9 months or something like that, right? But people don't really weigh that loss the same way, I feel like. And I get the whole fighter's will, the heart, and we talk about it all the time on the show, that's what makes a lot of these guys stand out and stuff, is their willingness to continue despite whatever adversity they're going through. And I just did not feel like this was one of those cases. He immediately went down after the leg lock. He tried to stand back up. His knee gave out immediately. You could tell he was just not stable on the thing. He was more worried about trying to keep himself on his feet than he was defending the punches. And Roman Dolidze was throwing them bitches. He had no mercy for somebody that was injured at this point, because he already had shown some mercy when he had backed up, shown that, hey, his knee's injured. Are we still doing this? The ref said continue, and man, if I'm Phil Haas's team, dude, it just hurts, man. That would hurt so bad to see your athlete, your friend, your family member, whatever the case, go down twice, essentially. Because now not only is he dealing with the injury itself, he's dealing with the repercussions of a knockout because he was trying to fight through it. And that was rough.
Like I said, it was a nasty one, dude. Like, you could tell that knee bar was nasty too, because I mean, dude, his knee was like at blow up point.
Yeah.
Like I said, that was fucking gnarly. Then you had what happened in the main event, which we'll get to in a second. That, like I said, there were a couple of nasty.
What about the bulldog choke from Treason Gore? Is that how you say his name?
Oh, John Gore, dude.
Yeah,
that's hard because
that was tough to watch, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
that was tough to watch.
I had my old lady's brother sitting there watching the fights with me, and he's not that versed on the fights and stuff. So I just explained to him the whole scenario, like I had explained on the show last week, of how Treason Gore was sad during media day, had tears in his eyes, was just talking about wanting to do the best for his family. And I was like, well, that sucks, because I just want Frem to be able to go in there and do his thing. He needs to, secure this first win. And to see it kind of end in that fashion, and even my buddy's like, oh, look at his neck, dude. His neck's gonna be fucked after that. And it's like, yeah, his neck is fucked right now. Yeah. His neck is really not in a great place. Like, you could see it just looked like he pancaked it out, man. That thing was just as flat as could be. And you got to feel for Josh Fremd in this. He put on a really impressive performance in his first fight. I feel like the second one he didn't really wasn't able to get the ball rolling whatsoever. Just kind of suffered the takedown almost immediately, and then follow up from there. But
I mean, dude, he threw some hands on the feet. It wasn't like he didn't hit him with some shots, but man, that guillotine was gnarly, and it's definitely not the way you would want to go into the UFC. So again, we still rock with those who rock with us. We still fuck with Josh Fremd. Hopefully, we will see him back in a UFC cage. If not, whatever cage he ends up in next, hopefully he bounces back and gets back in the win column. And shout out to Trayshawn Gore for being able to do so. Khalil Roundtree Jr., man, that was a tough fight with just Dustin Jacoby. He gets the dub.
Who did you guys thought won that fight? I was really clearly feeling as though Dustin Jacoby had won the fight at the end of the fight, and the judges did not lean that direction. So I wanted to see if I was the only one feeling that way. I was biased towards Justin Jacoby. I've been a fan of his ever since his re-entry into the UFC.
So to be fair, by the time I got the fights on, it was Fremd was on, so I didn't get to see this.
Okay.
But from what I've heard, and listening to fellow past guest of this show and past commentator of Monday Night Raw, Jimmy Smith, he was saying the same thing. He thought that this was a worse robbery than what we saw with what people were saying was a robbery with Sean O'Malley and Petr Yan. So I can definitely see that because that's been the resounding thing that I've heard. I'm going to have to go back and watch that one to tell you for sure, but the rest of this card, like I said, I mean, Waldo Cortez Acosta got him a win against Jared Vanderaa. I don't know what the hell is going to happen next for Jared Vanderaa. Acosta, he's still young. He gets another dub in the UFC, probably a bump up in competition for him. And then, you had a good performance by Max Griffin as well. Like he won, but I mean, he just kind of grinded out Tim Means. I mean, the rest of these fights weren't the most exciting in the world.
Yeah, it was weird, right? Because you could see that he had that fire in the first round, right? Like he went in there hot. Talking about Max Griffin, he got the knockdown early and had really hurt Tim Means, and you could see, or at least from my viewpoint, it was like, man, Tim Means is going to be out of here soon. I would be surprised if it makes it to the second round. And then about the 2 minutes in, so like the 3-minute mark left on the clock in the first round, he had just started to kind of not have that same fire whatsoever. And it didn't look like he slowed down cardio wise or anything. It just looked like he just didn't have that same intensity that he brought from the beginning of the fight. And I was hoping maybe sometime throughout the fight you would see the return of that, that just rawness that he brought, but it just never brought itself back. It was just a constant, like, what can I do to make sure that I secure a victory? And it was very sports-like and not combat sports-like, if you understand what I mean.
J-Bone, what did you think about that one?
Man, I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to that fight, to be honest. I think I was, by that time, hanging out with Uncle Chase. But
blame it on Uncle Chase. It's another T-shirt coming to Knockouts 3 Counts. But, dude, Calvin Kattar blows up his knee.
Yeah, but I feel, not to interrupt it, but I feel like the big story is, Calvin Kattar blew out his knee, but I feel like Arnold Allen was on the way to securing this victory unless he got hit with something, vicious, unless it was like a knockout punch or something that Kattar was able to land. It just seemed like Arnold Allen was a step ahead the whole fight. So, I mean, the injury is what ultimately was the ending, but I feel like we were able to see enough in that fight that it wasn't like he got injured within the first, 2 minutes, and that's just how it played out. I felt like Arnold Allen was able to showcase his skills, and because of that is going to be able to climb a good bit in the division because of that victory.
I don't know, J-Bone, what do you think about that one?
Hey, man, like you said, Arnold Allen, I picked him. Didn't I pick him, right? I picked him last week? I could have swore I picked him. I should have played the parlay. I should have played the parlay.
I did, and I lost.
Hey, he looked good, man. He looked good in round one. Just unfortunate, events. But like you said, I think he was going to cruise to a victory anyway. So maybe it could have took one shot, but I think that's what we're going to get regardless. So it is what it is, man. He looked great.
What can I say? I ride with big yins. Maybe it's going to take one shot this Saturday for Logan Paul against Roman Reigns. But I don't know, man.
Not going to happen.
I think you're probably right. But like I said, we've made our picks. If you guys check this out and post, let us know who you're looking at for WWE Crown Jewel. I am looking forward to seeing what we're going to see out of that. Shout out to the UFC. You've also got the UFC coming at you again this weekend. We're going to have to see where Jake Paul goes out of this one. And, like I said, don't forget, November 12th, Dearborn Heights, if you're in the area, Lights Out MMA, it's going down. You got the main event, Austin Bashi versus Joe the Party Penafiel. Like I said, we had homie on the show, and he had a lot to say. So if you guys are in the area, you need to come say have a nice day and come check out these fights. Until the next time and in the in-between time, you better be cruising down the street in that 6-4.